Crazy,
how
y'all.
far she'll
This
go though.
crazy, y'all. This is.
I already respond to this comment already. You just gotta scroll down and you'll see my response. And I saw the comment and I respond to it. I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. I want to say it was a trigger for me because I don't think that was the case. I don't think it was a trigger. It was more of a flashback that I had. I remember my first bully. I was in the 5th grade when I was first bullied. And what's crazy about it is that I was just a quiet kid. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I probably talked to maybe 2 people, but majority of the time I was going to school and back home. What's crazy about it that I still remember the person that bullied me. I remember her first and last name. I remember how she looked like. It was a tough time. It was a bit of a difficult time during that period because it was just a lot going on. And at that time, I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. It was a time where I was like, you know what is the point? You know, I'm going through all this for what? Maybe it is better off if I'm not here. Maybe it's better off that I unalive myself. And by the grace of God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, He had different plans for me. And I'm still standing talking to y'all. There's no video about Rizzy, and I said, you gotta get your mind right. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm none of those people. But I understand firsthand experience that if you do not get your mind right, you will unfortunately end up like Rizzy. And I see comments like this that I pinned up. I asked the questions, and for some reason these questions are not being answered. So I'm going to propose another questions. Who was in the lives when Rizzy was alive? That took those lives, chat rooms or whatever you want to call it, that took the lives and reported it to the authorities. Who was in the lives that did that? When Rizzy was alive, when she was being bullied, when she was being told to unalive herself. Who was in the live that stood up for her and said, that shit is wrong? Who was? After Rizzy passed away, and I stitched it in the beginning of this video, after she passed away, y'all still made fun of this lady. Y'all are women, grown women, probably over the age of 35. And this is what y'all doing. These are grown women doing this bullshit. Who, and I asked again, who was in those lives, those chat rooms? Who stood up and said, you guys, that is wrong. That is wrong. Y'all need to stop. Who had the courage? Who had the courage to stand up and say, you guys, that's wrong? Who was it? And I'm getting posts like this saying to leave it alone, get out of her business, and let it be. Who was in those chat rooms that stood up for this lady? You want me to leave it alone. Why didn't you have the same energy for them when Rizzy was alive? Cases of cyberbullying. This is a fucking pattern. But for some reason, you're telling me, let her rest in peace and let it be. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I didn't know Rizzy. I didn't know Rizzy personally. I never met this lady, but I promise you if I had met her, I would have told her that's some bullshit right there. But for some reason, when I asked questions, nobody answers it. Who was the same energy? Where was it? When she was alive and when y'all was extorting her for money, who stood up there and say, you guys, that's wrong? Who did it? See is grown women that probably have children or grandchildren are the main one laughing, giggling. Everybody got the fucking giggles when she was alive. Every last one of y'all that was in that live were the main one to condone that behavior. Y'all were the main ones. Everybody had the giggles. Everybody had the giggles. Everybody was making fun of her. Everybody thought it was funny. Y'all worse. Y'all worse than the ones that were involved. Y'all worse. Y'all sat there and listened. Y'all listened. And y'all did nothing. Nobody did anything. Isn't that interesting? If it was up to me, every last one of y'all that was on that live, every last one of y'all would have been under the jail, the prison, if it was up to me. Aren't you glad it's not up to me? You should be glad. But you want me to leave it alone.